Hey YouTube, Maestro here from Lightsaber Combat. Today we're going to talk real quick about a couple of points about projections. If you don't know, projections is where you take the opponent's energy as they're coming in and you use it to basically throw them. Not throw them in the sense of like picking them up and chucking them. That would take a lot of gross motor strength, which is not what Soresu is about. Soresu is about using the incoming energy and turning it back on the opponent to use to protect yourself. So that way you can fight for a very long time without getting tired or winded because they're actually providing all the power and doing all the work for you. For these two projections that we're going to talk about, I want to illustrate a principle. It's been in an earlier video, but I want to go over it now so that I can talk more in detail about this principle because it's very important. Whenever the opponent makes an attack at me and he's using his unified powers of attack, his UPA, which we talked about in a previous video, whenever he's using that force to attack me, that's a lot of power coming in towards me, and there are different ways that I can respond to that. The most primitive, instinctual one to do is, if he comes in to push me, I push back against him, which is fine as long as I'm pretty strong. If he starts walking, trying to walk through me, I can stop him, but if he continues, if he redoubles his efforts, I have to redouble mine. I have to push just as hard against him as he's pushing against me. What that means is we have a wasteful struggle here because I'm using so much energy. And what am I accomplishing? All I'm doing is stopping him from rolling over me, but I'm stuck. I'm standing still. I'm completely vulnerable to an opponent coming up behind me, or anything else. In principle, it's just not a very efficient way to go about things. There's a more efficient way. A different tactic I could take, instead of pushing against him, is exaggerating his own motion that he's already giving me in approximately the same direction. It's going to have a little bit of change because I'm in the way. But approximately the same direction, I'm going to exaggerate his motion. So as he comes in hard, walking hard at me, I can exaggerate his motion with a very little shove, send him all the way across the room. Because he's providing the power now, not me. Now, the first one, I could probably do that 4 or 5 guys. He's a big guy. The second one, though, I could do all day. I could push him that way all day because all I'm doing is guiding his energy that he's already giving me. Okay? So keep that principle in mind as we talk about these projections. And remember that projection should never be based on brute force or strength or effort. All the power should come from the opponent. Okay? Let's get the sabers and we'll show you guys some projections from Soresu. Okay. So the first one that I'm going to show you is a very easy projection. It's what we call a soft projection. There are 2 types of projections in Soresu. Soft projections and hard projections. Soft projections are exactly what they sound like. It's a gentler way to propel somebody. I'm not doing a lot when I'm doing a soft projection. Basically what I'm doing is I'm creating more space between us. So if he's coming at me with a strong attack, he's coming in strong, he's taking a large step in, he's going at it, he's trying to attack me, I'm just going to shunt him off and let that energy carry him. I'm going to give him a little bit more so that he can be led away rather than stay and fight with me. I'm going to soft project him out. So let's show the first soft projection. So for this projection, what you'll see is that when he comes in to attack me, first of all, I need to be in my nice Soresu ready stance so that I'm able to Itami or Tenkan, however I'm going to be. This one's going to be an Itami movement. The first one's going to be a Tenkan movement. Sorry, first one's a Tenkan movement. I'm going to open and turn, and you'll notice again I'm making my parries in the lower part of the blade and against the upper part of his. That way I can use less energy to stop his attack. Alright, so here we go. So now once I've made my Tenkan movement, once I've started my Tenkan movement, my free hand is going to come in behind his blade. Ideally, I like to put the palm right against the butt of his blade, and I just push his sword forward at the same time that I turn from my center. And what that does is, as he's already in the middle of stepping forward and he's going forward, that just exaggerates his motion and carries him out. It's important that I have the block there. It's possible to do it without the block, but it requires a lot better timing and it's a lot more dangerous. It's easier just to put the block in there. So one more time from this side so you can see exactly what it is. As he comes in hard with that attack, I just get behind that blade, give it a shove, and if he wants to hold onto his sword, he's got to go with it. Okay, so for the second type of projection is a hard projection. With a hard projection, I'm going to maintain control throughout the projection. These mostly have to do with taking the opponent to the ground. Unfortunately, as we don't have the proper equipment, safety mats, and so forth to practice it today, I'm not actually going to take him all the way to the ground, but I'm going to show you how I would take him to the ground if we did have that appropriate safety equipment. Okay, so for this one, it's pretty simple. The same basic idea. Here we go. As he comes in for this attack, I'm stepping forward. This one's an atemi motion because I'm stepping in on a 45-degree angle. It's hard to see from here, but I'm stopping his blade with my blade here low against my body, using the upper part of his blade so that I have good leverage and he can't continue that action and kill me. So once I've stopped him here, all I'm going to do is I'm going to take hold of his blade here in this nice empty pocket that he's giving me right between his two hands. If he had one hand on here, I would just grab the end of his blade. But as he's got the two hands, I can just grab it right there. Now all I'm going to do is as I push forward with both hands, I'm going to step on my 45-degree line. And I'm going to torque, as it's already out of balance, I'm just going to torque him down to the side. It's very similar to a hip throw, where I'm stepping in, and I'm going to throw him over my hip. If I did this full force, of course, he's going to go upside down. He's going to go on the ground. Potentially it could hurt him, so we're not going to do it full force here. Let's switch sides, and we'll show you the other way. So again, this is a rising attack. He's using a low attack. He's using in the two lines. So if I was standing here in a good guard position and didn't react, my elbow or body would be cut as it's coming in. This is where he's aiming right now. So all I'm going to do is turn and step in as he comes in, stopping the blade right there. I want to get a good deep block here so that my power is going into that block and he can't resist it. Then it's hands, and all I'm doing is pushing forward both hand and body, step, and throw. If you need to, you can take a third step as you do it if he's not off balance enough, or if he's a really, really big guy who outweighs you and is taller than you and has longer reach. You can step in at the same time you're doing the throw, and that'll put him down, okay? So those are examples of the soft projection and the hard projection. All right, thank you very much, and happy sabering.